Good evening, sir. How are you? Good. Good.
Public Works Building. This is not a public hearing, but it is a chance for a discussion. So we would like to have those who would like to address the council to come forward to the podium, state your name and address, and you may address the council. We'd ask you to be brief. There are a lot of people here. I don't know how many want to talk. But if you start and hear the same thing being said over and over again, we've heard you, and we'll go from there. But all who would like to come forward, would ask you to come forward, to be brief.
Of Heritage Grove, I publicly thank Mayor Harris for listening to the citizens of North Ogden and allowing reason to prevail with a decision announced last Friday not to place the City Shops complex right up against a foothill neighborhood of custom homes. However, statements I've seen in various emails recently and quotes in yesterday's newspaper continue to cause concern. It's reported the city still might place the complex in this same area, but further north. With regard to the mayor's announcement on Friday and the Monday morning headline that declares North Ogden scraps top site, Martha Harris is quoted as saying things can still change. We do not question the need for new public works facilities. We do question managerial and decision processes in this city, and now we are concerned by various posturing statements made by city officials. Martha Harris is quoted as saying, no matter where the facility goes, people are going to say they don't want it in their backyard. That statement is partially true. Some concerns will be raised by any selected site. Decisions always deal with trade-offs. We all know that no decision is perfectly optimal. But trade-offs are major if this facility were to be placed in the green space area in the city's East Bench. First, the area is not centrally located. Unlike the existing location where service vehicles go out in multiple spokes to various parts of the city, this site, being on the east edge, will require disproportionate traffic, including heavy equipment traffic, streaming down Mountain Road and 2600 North. Do you realize the many school bus stops in this residential area, including stops on Mountain Road and 2600 North that require children to cross the street to get to their buses? This would be both a safety issue for children and a liability issue for the city. Second, the residents of Halltree, Coldwater, and other subdivisions know this area, unlike other parts of the city, has unique acoustics. Being up against a mountain that is not forested, sounds amplify and reverberate. Locating city shops and fleet operations here would generate significant noise pollution that echoes and amplifies. Third, the topography up here does not allow for camouflaging the complex. Chris Campbell's $500,000 home, along with many other homes, would have their tranquility and serene views replaced with a bird's eye view of snowplows, trucks, refueling operations, and so forth. These issues would not loom large if the shops were located in the quasi-industrial areas along Washington Boulevard, or in areas adjacent to the existing location of these shops. Specifically, I would ask you folks to reconsider Scott Holt's 6.5-acre site on Pleasant View Drive, not many yards west of the existing facility. I know there was a water issue with this site when a free-flowing well was running. That well has now been capped. Scott is asking $100,000 an acre. He told me the other day he is eager to sell that property and he's willing to negotiate the price with the city. I hear two arrogant statements repeated by city officials. One, the city owns this land. The city can do anything it wants with this land. No vote is necessary. That attitude offends me. Although the statement is technically true, in my view, the city is the people, not you 6 people.
From that sort of an outburst, or we'll end the meeting.
The second statement that falls intellectually short is this site is best because it's free. There is no cost. I quote former Mayor Lynn Muirbrook. The city wants to use this site because they think there is no cost, but there is a cost. The cost, instead of being borne by the city at large, is placed on you people with diminished property values. Placing the shops here will take value from you. Lynn Muirbrook, of course, is a seasoned real estate professional. Finally, we have been bewildered by a statement attributed to Martha Harris that the city shops have never been touted as an industrial facility and are not thought of such by the council. What an incredulous statement. The technical definition of an industrial facility is, quote, buildings that house industrial labor and capital equipment. What is industrial labor? Blue-collar folks who use hand tools and operate equipment. What is capital equipment? Storage tanks, dump trucks, snow plows, and so forth. What goes on in the city shops of North Ogden? We have folks operating a fleet of equipment. We have mechanics that do maintenance on the city fleet. We have a small engine repair shop. We have diesel engine maintenance. We have equipment maintenance. We have a 2,000-gallon storage tank for gasoline distribution, a 2,000-gallon tank for diesel fuel distribution. We have tanks for used oil. We have oil recycling operations. We burn used oil on the site. Industrial facilities are classified by the U.S. Department of Commerce into Standard Industrial Classification Codes, or SIC codes. Here are just a few of the SIC codes that the federal government would declare the North Ogden Public Works Facility as an industrial facility. Code 5541 is gasoline service station operations. Code 28XX is code for chemical operations. 29XX is code for dealing with petroleum products. 42XX is for trucking and warehousing. 5093 is for scrap and waste management operations. Code 5015 is work associated with motor vehicle parts. We have wondered why such a patently outrageous statement would be made. We found the reason. We now have information that the deed that was conveyed, that conveyed this land free of cost to the city, imposes a restriction that it never be used for what? An industrial activity. Let's move forward to give Mel Blanchard and company what he sorely needs. My plea is for equity and openness in the decision process. I now defer to Bruce Hall.
Dr. Russell, we need to have you written the paper there for the records. Anything that's read from paper or anything, we're going to have it on record. If we can get a copy of that.
I will give you a copy. I will give anybody a copy of it.
If we can get that tonight, and we'll just have our deputy recorder go make a copy for us, that would be good.
My name is Bruce Hall, and I live at 2548 North, 1550 East in Heritage Grove subdivision. I'm a lifelong resident of North Ogden, and I've lived in the Heritage Grove subdivision for the last 16 years. Now, I can't compete with Steve Russell's speech there, but and he's already taken some of my thunder, so I won't go back over some of those things. However, I do want, as a resident, I would like to understand and view what information the Planning Committee used in selecting this East Bench Foothills. I would like to ask the mayor, based on the article in the paper, whether or not, to help clarify so that I fully understand the statement, is whether this particular piece of property in question is now taken off for consideration, meaning it's not acceptable site under any current proposed configuration or any future configuration.